Hey everyone, Stacks here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm checking out Wolverine #3 by Benjamin Percy and Adam Kubert. And your color artist for this issue is Frank Martin. So let me begin by saying that Benjamin Percy has quickly become one of my favorite writers at Marvel. In my opinion, if you're shuffling around the top four, you've got Benjamin Percy, you have Donny Cates, you have Jonathan Hickman, and then you have Chip Zdarsky, not necessarily in that order. A lot of that has to do with his efforts over on X-Force that I've absolutely loved. And to the same token, Wolverine has quickly become one of my favorite titles. And I know this is only issue 3, but you had that first issue that was really a double issue that really kicked off two different storylines. The one with Omega Red and the vampire storyline, and then you also had this one with the Pale Girl. And well, since it has been a minute since we've had a video on this, since they've had a Wolverine book released, what I'll do is I'll leave the playlist down in the description below. You can go check that out if you want to get caught up. But I'm also going to do a quick rundown, 30-second style, just to get everyone caught up on what's going on in the life of Wolverine at the moment. So Wolverine's problems really started when they started tracking some missing shipments of Krakoan flowers. X-Force, following up on some leads, ended up in Alaska, and when they did, well, they were set upon by the Pale Girl. Pale Girl confused Wolverine, Old Man Logan style, and it managed to set him on the rest of the X-Force team, where he murdered Domino, Jean Grey, and Kid Omega. So while the rest of the team's just laying around grabbing them some Resurrection Protocol, Wolverine heads off and meets up with this CIA agent named Jeff Bannister. Jeff Bannister's been investigating this from a drug angle because the Krakoan flowers are being manipulated by a group into a powerful drug called pollen. Well, the two cook up this scheme where they're going to go out in the ocean on a boat with a bunch of Krakoan flowers and get hijacked by the Pale Girl and see what happens. And, well, that's exactly what happens. And Wolverine apparently ends up getting mind controlled again and stabbing Bannister. And that's where issue 2 ended. Issue 3 starts with Magneto and Wolverine at the Green Lagoon in Krakoa absolutely tying one on. And Logan is absolutely drinking Magneto under the table to the point where Magneto has his purple drink with his umbrella in it and is just sloshing it all over the place, talking about, did you know? I mean, he's having a freaking time. And Wolverine actually, he's just telling him, hey, keep feeding us drinks, don't stop. I thought I told you to keep it flowing. And Blob's like, yeah, sure, I'm trying to keep up with you. And right after that, when Magneto finally hits the I love you man part of the night, where he's like, we should do this more often, we've both played the hero and the villain, and when you've been around as long as we have been, man, that's a long time. And it's important we take a breather so we can, we're colleagues, but dare I say it, we're friends. And he just passes out on the table. Wolverine just stands right up, finishes his drink, cracks his knuckles, grabs Magneto's helmet, tells Blob, you didn't see a thing, and heads out the door. From there, you jump to this really awesome spread where it's Wolverine talking about through all the different iterations, how many lives he's lived, and how in all of them he's always wished he was someone else or someplace else. And it's really well written, but it comes down to Logan saying, look, I've always lived off my instincts, and it's gotten me through, just gut instincts. And Logan, he says he's never stopped and really thought that through because he feels like that is somebody who's an optimist that does that. A pessimist like him is always focused on how bad it can get. An optimist is someone who's looking forward to a better day, and those are the type of people that have plans. And up till now, Logan didn't feel that way, but something's changing for him. Suddenly he has this hope of a better future. And because of that, this time going around, he's got something he hasn't in the past. He's got a plan. And his plan is not to just stop these hijackings. His plan isn't just to settle some score with the Pale Girl. His plan is to take down this entire operation, this entire machine that is the Flower Cartel. From there we jump to a scene with him and Kid Omega, which, like the Magneto scene, is labeled having happened yesterday. And Quentin Quire is just being Quentin Quire. Wolverine is there asking him for help, and Quentin is just coming out and saying, look, as much as I love seeing you grovel, absolutely not. There is no way I'm going to help you. And Wolverine's like, what, you scared? And Kid Omega is blowing him off, saying, look, you think your persuasion techniques have any control over me? And as he's walking out, there are the Cuckoo Sisters just sitting there saying, "Oh, Quentin, we heard you were going to go face the Pale Girl." And they just cheese it up saying, "Oh, that's hot. That's amazing. They're saying that she's Omega level." And they officially just sit there and stroke his ego to the point that like he's like, "Oh yeah, of course I'm going to do it." And he does agree to do it, but it comes with a cost, as Wolverine sits there and has this conversation back and forth with one of the Cuckoos who says, we did this for you. Now you have to do us the favor we've asked. You've got to give us cable." Jump past a white paper that was an absolute wall of text that basically says, "Look, the Russians are up to something." And we go into the arrival of the ship that Wolverine is on at this underwater base, this island basically that the Russians have constructed. And so while it seems that the Quiet Council believes that these countries that are the non-treaty nations are fencing themselves off from the rest of the world, Russia has actually been doing the opposite, and they're out there taking these Krakoan petals and using them to garner influence. Well, when these smugglers open up the cargo to see what they have an unwelcome surprise when they have Wolverine donning the Magneto helmet and about to kick their tail with the help of the Marauders. Jumping back to the day prior, you have Wolverine standing there with the entire team explaining, "Look, here's what's going on." He explains everything going on with Jeff Bannister. He explains everything going on with the Pale Girl. He basically explains how this is a Trojan horse operation and that Jeff Bannister has no idea that he's bringing help along with him. And when Quentin Quire actually steps in and says, "What's this Jeff Bannister guy? Why do we have to use this human? Why is he involved at all?" Wolverine stands up for him and says, "Look, he's good people. He's smart. He's doing this investigation the right way. He's trying to go to he's got the same goals we do." Jump back to the butt whooping, and you have Quentin Quire just explaining the plan and how everything worked as he, in his very braggadocious style, is sitting here just lecturing the Pale Girl on how he made this happen. And the way he explains it to her is actually hilarious. He's like, "Look, so first of all, you don't realize how much skill and endurance it took to do this, right? First, I had to harness all of Wolverine's broken, foul mind, which was the equivalent of an archaeologist wading through a century of bathroom stall graffiti. Then I had to take that, reconstruct it, and project a phantom version of that psyche and body for you to mess with. That's right, I played you at your own game of mental chess, and I conquered you. Basically, I just won the Oscar, the Nobel Prize, and the Pulitzer. And not only did I win them, but I did it while executing a triple backflip off the summit of Everest and then crack, it gets whacked over the back of the skull by Jeff Bannister, who, well, the Pale Girl's controlling him instead. Back to the fight, you have Wolverine, Bishop, Pyro, and a couple of Omegas making quick work out of everyone involved down on the ship when Wolverine finally breaks away and goes after the Pale Girl. And as he busts in there and makes it very clear that she does not have a chance of getting inside him this time, she just kind of smiles and says, "I don't have to get inside of you to control you. You think your friends are your strength, but they're your weakness." And that's when Jeff Bannister comes out holding a gun to his own head. And Wolverine starts trying to talk him down right away. He says, "Look, man, pull Bannister, she's in your head." And he's like, "I'll pull the trigger. Get away from my daughter." And Wolverine's like, no, your daughter, no, your daughter's sick. She needs her old man." And it's at this point that with Bannister kind of coming to a little bit, that Wolverine manages to get up close and swipe the gun from him. The Pale Girl, however, took that opportunity and she managed to make it to a different part of the ship and escape. From there, you have another white page about Russia, and it's actually pretty interesting, the disinformation campaign that the Russians are using to turn people against the Krakoan drug. What they're doing is taking the Krakoan petals, producing this drug pollen, this recreational drug, and then using it, pushing it on the streets, and having things like overdoses and all this other negative impacts of this drug in order to take that, label it that the mutants are peddling this drug that's causing all this issue. So they've taken this gift that mutant kind is trying to give humanity, granted at a cost, but to give them for their health and all these other benefits, and they're manipulating it into something evil. From there, the story closes out with Bannister and Logan hanging out in the backyard with his daughter, and you find out that Logan managed to pull some strings and get her the Krakoan petals she needed to help battle her leukemia. And throughout this whole story, you've had some great internal dialogue from Logan regarding his life and the way he's looking at it and the way that him depending on his friends is so critical, and how they see in him something that he's never been able to quite become, but maybe he could pursue that he could be better. Well, Bannister, of course, invites him to dinner, go grab something to eat, and they're on their way to do it. Well, while Logan is about to follow him, it seems he gets a call in his earpiece from Sage, who tells him, yeah, the Quiet Council is demanding your immediate return. Something about Magneto's helmet? But as Logan leaves, he leaves behind one of the Krakoan portals in case Bannister's family ever need him. So I thought that was pretty cool, and hopefully this relationship is going to continue to flourish throughout this Wolverine title, because I really like the character of Jeff Bannister. I really like their interaction, the two of them, that building of trust. And like Wolverine said, having good humans in this to show that they're not all bad in the Marvel universe. Like I was saying just a second ago, the dialogue here from Wolverine, the character development, him becoming becoming more hopeful, him looking at what's going on Krakoa and feeling like there's hope. I like that angle, but I also am afraid that it's going to be part of what Krakoa is doing, what this overall system is doing, where it seems like everybody gets what they want. It just seems like the X-Men right now, where everything in mutant kind is too good to be true. Everybody's got what they want. Usually when something's too good to be true, it's because it's too good to be true. So maybe it's just the pessimist in me waiting for the other shoe to drop. As far as my review of the book, I really liked the storyline. I really enjoyed it. I knew as soon as I saw the preview for this, and it had Kid Omega and the Cuckoos in the lineup basically for the issue, that this was going to be them setting a mental trap for the Pale Girl. But it's going to be interesting to see where that character goes going forward. I thought there was a lot of good character development in Wolverine and where his character is at the moment. And then I enjoyed the art in this. I had no issues with the art. I thought most of it was really, really good. The shot that had me looking at the most is probably the shot of the two-page spread down at the bottom with Juggernaut punching right through Wolverine. That shot just looked absolutely amazing. But anyways, guys, this is definitely a recommend. Go check it out. It's I think Benjamin Percy is one of the top X writers right now, as far as consistency and laying out titles in a way that they keep you engaged. There's been no real slump in any of the issues as far as my thoughts on it. Also, if you haven't yet, go check out my X-Men Fantastic Four #4 video. It's the last one, and I'm giving away that whole series, so you can go sign up to win that over there. And that's all I got, guys. I hope you have a good one. Y'all take care. Real Comic Stacks out.